You didn't buy that because you wanted it. You bought it because you were terrified of not having it. And that fear, it was manufactured by a team of psychologists on purpose. Welcome to Maestro Psychology. Today we're going inside the most profitable psychological trick in the history of commerce, manufactured scarcity. By the end of this video, you will never look at a limited time offer the same way again. And honestly, you might be angry at yourself for how many times you've fallen for it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever bought something, and 48 hours later, you couldn't even remember why you wanted it? You didn't need it, you didn't plan to buy it, but something happened. Something on that screen made your chest tighten, made your thumb move faster than your brain, and before you could think, it was in your cart, done, purchased. That feeling, that rush, that wasn't excitement, that was fear. Specifically, the fear of missing out, FOMO. And it was put there, deliberately, by people whose entire job is to make you feel it at exactly the right moment. In 1984, a psychologist named Robert Cialdini published a book called Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. In that book, he identified 6, later 7 universal principles that make humans say yes to things: reciprocity, commitment, social proof, authority, liking, unity, and scarcity. Now, all 7 are powerful, but scarcity is the one that prints money. Because scarcity doesn't appeal to your logic. It doesn't try to convince you the product is good. It bypasses that conversation entirely. It goes straight to the oldest, deepest part of your brain, the part that kept your ancestors alive, and it whispers, "This is running out. Act now or lose it forever." And here's what Cialdini's research actually proved. Scarcity doesn't just make you want something more. It narrows your cognitive focus. When you see last one left, your brain enters a kind of tunnel vision. You stop comparing. You stop evaluating alternatives. You stop asking, do I actually need this? The only question left in your head is, can I get it before it's gone? That's not shopping. That's a hijack. And every major platform on earth knows exactly how to trigger it. Let me show you how. Open Amazon right now. Pick any product. Scroll down. You'll see it. Only 2 left in stock. Order soon. That little orange line, that number, that urgency. It feels real, doesn't it? Like the warehouse is running dry, and you might miss your chance. Here's the truth. Amazon restocks most of those products hourly. In some cases, daily. That number is not a reflection of actual supply. It's a psychological trigger, placed there because A/B testing proved it increases conversions by double digits. They're not telling you the truth about inventory. They're telling you a story about loss. And your brain, your ancient, survival-wired brain, believes the story every single time. Now let's go to Booking.com. This one is even worse. You search for a hotel, and immediately, you're hit with 12 people are looking at this right now. Only 1 room left at this price. Booked 6 times in the last 24 hours. Your heart rate goes up. You feel pressure. You feel competitive. Like you're in a race against 12 strangers you can't see. But in 2019, an investigation by consumer protection authorities in Europe found that many of Booking.com's single quotes S urgency signals were misleading. 12 people looking at this might include users from days or even weeks ago. Last room at this price might simply mean the price would change by $3. The scarcity was fabricated. The panic was real. And that's the genius of it. You don't need real scarcity to trigger the scarcity response. You just need the perception of scarcity. Your amygdala, the brain's fear center, fires before the prefrontal cortex. The rational thinker can weigh in. By the time your logical mind says, wait, do I need this? You've already clicked book now. This brings us to a Nobel Prize winner, Daniel Kahneman. In his work on prospect theory, Kahneman proved something that changed economics forever. The pain of losing something is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining that same thing. Read that again. Losing hurts twice as much as winning feels good. So when a brand says this deal is ending, that's not the same as saying this deal is available. It's not an invitation, it's a threat. This deal is ending activates loss aversion. Your brain doesn't hear, here's something you can have. It hears, here's something you're about to lose. And loss is twice as loud. Now Kahneman also gave us the framework of System 1 and System 2 thinking. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional. It's the brain that flinches when something flies at your face. System 2 is slow, deliberate, rational. It's the brain that calculates whether a purchase actually fits your budget. Scarcity marketing is designed, engineered, to keep you in System 1, to never let System 2 wake up. The countdown timer, the red badge, the selling fast notification. Every single one of those elements exists to keep the fast brain in charge and the rational brain asleep. And it works, because you're not fighting a product. You're fighting a multi-billion-dollar system that has been A/B tested on millions of people to find the exact combination of words, colors, and timing that makes you click. Let me give you the most extreme example of manufactured scarcity in the modern world. Supreme. If you don't know Supreme, here's the story. It's a streetwear brand. They sell t-shirts, hoodies, skateboards, accessories. The manufacturing cost of most of their products, $5 to $15. The retail price, $50 to $300. The resale price, sometimes $500, sometimes $1,000, sometimes more. How? One word. Drops every Thursday. Supreme releases a tiny batch of new products online. The quantities are deliberately, absurdly limited. Everything sells out in seconds, not minutes. Seconds. Bots are programmed to buy the moment the page goes live, and then the resale market explodes. A brick that, and I'm not exaggerating, a literal clay brick with the Supreme logo on it, sold for $30 retail. On the resale market, it went for over $200 a brick because it was scarce. The product didn't matter. The scarcity was the product. Supreme didn't build a brand on quality. They built a brand on the feeling of almost not getting it. And before you think this is just a streetwear thing, look at Apple. Every single major iPhone launch follows the same playbook. Limited initial stock, long lines outside stores, headlines about shortages, people camping overnight. Now, Apple is one of the richest companies in human history. They have the most sophisticated supply chain on Earth. You think they can't stock enough phones for launch day? Of course they can. They choose not to, because the lines are the marketing. When you see 1,000 people waiting outside an Apple store, your brain doesn't think that's inconvenient. It thinks that must be incredible. The scarcity creates social proof, and the social proof creates more demand. It's a self-reinforcing cycle, and it was designed that way. Now let's talk about the digital world, because this is where scarcity gets truly dark. Have you ever seen an online course advertised as only 10 spots left? Or a coaching program that says we only accept 20 people per cohort? Think about that for a second. A digital course is a video file, hosted on a server. There is no physical classroom. There is no maximum capacity. 10,000 people could take it simultaneously, and nothing would change. So when someone says only 10 spots left for a digital product, they're not describing a real limitation. They're manufacturing a feeling. The feeling of exclusivity. The feeling of I might miss this. And that feeling, not the course content, not the reviews, not the curriculum. That feeling is what makes you type in your credit card number at midnight. Dan Ariely, a behavioral economist at MIT, ran a famous experiment that proves exactly how irrational scarcity makes us. He tested subscription pricing for The Economist magazine. Option 1, online only, $59. Option 2, print only, $125. Option 3, print and online, $125. Most people chose option 3. Makes sense, right? Same price as print, but you get online free. But here's the twist. When Ariely removed option 2, The print-only option that nobody wanted, everything changed. Now, people mostly chose option 1, the cheap one. The option that nobody wanted was the reason everyone chose the expensive one. It was a decoy, a reference point, a piece of manufactured context that made the best deal look irresistible. Without it, the spell broke. This is called the decoy effect, and it's everywhere. Look at any pricing page for software, for streaming services, for gym memberships. There are almost always 3 options, and the middle one is always the one they want you to pick. The cheap option exists to make the middle look reasonable. The expensive option exists to make the middle look like a deal. You think you're comparing. You're being guided. Now here's where it gets philosophical. Jean Baudrillard, a French philosopher most people have never heard of, wrote a book called The Consumer Society, published in 1970. In it, he made an argument that, at the time, sounded extreme. He said, "Modern capitalism does not sell you products. It sells you the feeling of lack." Read that again. It doesn't sell you what you need. It manufactures a feeling of not having enough, and then sells you the temporary relief from that feeling. You don't buy the sneaker because you need shoes. You buy the sneaker because for a moment, just a brief dopamine-fueled moment, the ache of I don't have it stops, and then it comes back. Because it's designed to come back. Baudrillard was writing in 1970. He didn't have Amazon. He didn't have push notifications. He didn't have algorithm-driven flash sales timed to your browsing history. But he described the exact world we live in today. He saw it 50 years before it arrived. Let me connect all of this now. Cialdini showed us the mechanism. Scarcity makes things feel more valuable. Kahneman showed us why it works. Loss aversion makes the fear of missing out twice as powerful as the desire to gain. Ehrlich showed us the trick. Decoy options and context manipulation guide our choices. And Baudrillard showed us the endgame. The entire system is designed not to sell you products, but to sell you the feeling that you don't have enough. So the question is, what do you do? How do you fight something that's been engineered by some of the smartest people on Earth, tested on billions of users, and refined over decades? I'm going to give you 4 things. And I'm not going to give you the delete all your apps advice because that's not realistic. These are actual countermeasures that work in the real world. First, the 24-hour rule. Before you buy anything marketed with urgency, sale ends tonight, only 3 left, limited edition, close the tab, wait 24 hours, come back tomorrow. If the urgency was manufactured, you won't care about it tomorrow. If you still want it after 24 hours of distance, buy it. That one rule alone will save you thousands of dollars a year. Second, ask the killer question. Before any purchase, ask yourself, would I buy this if there were unlimited supply at this exact price? If the answer is no, you don't want the product, you want the scarcity. You want the rush of getting something before it disappears. That's not shopping. That's gambling with a credit card. Third, recognize the architecture. When you see a countdown timer, that's a trigger. When you see 12 people are looking at this, that's manufactured competition. When you see 3 pricing tiers, look for the decoy. Once you learn to see the scaffolding behind the sales page, the magic disappears. You can't unsee it, and that's the point. Fourth, and this is the deep one. Understand that the feeling of I need this right now is almost never about the product. It's about the void underneath. We buy compulsively when we feel empty, anxious, bored, or inadequate. The product doesn't fill the void. It numbs it, temporarily, and then the void comes back, and so does the next limited time offer. Breaking the cycle doesn't start with your wallet. It starts with understanding why you reach for it. The countdown timer isn't real, but the money leaving your account, that's very real. And the people who designed this system are counting on you never hearing what I just told you. Now you've heard it. The question is, what are you going to do the next time you see only 2 left in stock? If this video ripped something open in your head, drop a like.